Hello again, guys, gals, and everyone in between. My name's Ithildor. Today I'm continuing on from my previous video. Kind of obvious. I'm glad I left it off where I did last time because I didn't have to talk about Canto Bight, but I do now, and I'm not happy because I am happy, but I'm not. As you can see, I've had a bit of a change in scenery. It's pretty nice, I like it. Might stay here. You may also notice that my friend is gone. Yeah, I don't know where he went. He ran away. He left. You know, I wish he didn't leave, but he's gone now, and I can't change that because he wasn't happy with me, and I wasn't happy with him, and we weren't happy with each other, so we parted ways. But anyway, enough of that stuff. Let's get into the video. Picking up where we last left off, we're with Luke and Rey. Yeah, it's that scene. That scene. You know, where Luke grabs his father's lightsaber, you know, the one that was used to kill a bunch of kids, the one he used during his training and all that. Yeah, he chucks it over his shoulder like it's nothing. I'm glad I left short of this. I really am. But hey, do you want to play a game?
Yes, oh my gosh, you're so cool, yeah, yeah.
So here we have 4 different alternatives for this scene. This scene, it could go down 4 different ways in this game show, because it's a game show. Wow! Anyways, A, would you do the same thing as Ryan did? B, would you have Luke say, "That's not my job"? Would you C, have Luke throw it back, Omni-Man style? Or D, have Luke drop the lightsaber, slowly, pain and anguish on his face. When he drops it, he seems to, like, scamper away, running away from it, as if he's scared of what it could do. If you choose A, B, or C, you lost, buddy. You lost. You lost. If you chose D, you win. Wow! Yeah! Yippee! Well done, I'm proud of you. Getting away from that, horrible scene, we can safely skip most of this. But we can cut to something that is important. Chewbacca and Luke, they meet, they're in I think, like a hut or something. And we're teased with a little bit of character development and consequences for the actions of the writers. Luke is there, he's speaking to Chewbacca, and he's like, "Wait, if you're here, where's Han?" But then we cut away to something else. We cut away to Kylo Ren, of all people. Why? I don't know. Blame Ryan. So here we have Kylo. He's in an elevator, he's dressed up in his Sith garb, he's got the helmet on, he doesn't have the hood up. And he's going to the person we only meet here, we're never properly explained to what he is. And no, I'm not counting Rise of Skywalker. It didn't answer my questions. It raised more. But yeah, we finally meet Snoke. The big bad. The bad guy. And he's wearing his pajamas. Yeah, he's wearing pajamas. The one thing I have to say about this scene is that, well, not just the scene, the whole movie. It looks nice. The props are done well, the scenes are beautiful, the CGI is, adequate, and it does look really nice. Apart from Snoke's pajamas. Snoke is speaking to Hux. General Hux, you know, the ginger bloke. The beautiful, cool-looking ginger guy. His beautiful green, well, hazel eyes. His ginger hair. Did I mention his ginger hair? He's ginger. But enough about that guy. He is probably the best character here, other than, like, Kylo Ren or something. So him and Snoke are just chatting to each other, like girl boss things or something. They're like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear about Rebecca?" or something. And he's reporting about, like, the resistance and how they got away, but that he's tracking them down, and he's a good boy. Pats on the head for General Hux. He's a good ginger boy. But yeah, he passes Kylo on the way to the elevator, and he gives Kylo this, like, smug look. He's got, like, a smile on his face, and he's got that look in the eye that says, "Supreme Leader likes me more." Which is an aspect I really liked about The Force Awakens and this part of this film. It is lovely. The whole dynamic of a Sith and an officer being on the same level isn't really something we see before. Because, like, there's Tarkin and there's Vader, but Tarkin's sort of on a higher level than Vader. But still, this is just... it's unique. It's a conflict that's unique to this film and the previous film, and it's nice and it's great. And I sure hope they don't slam him into a wall in the near future. But I really like the fact that both him and Kylo are vying for control and power over, like, the Supreme Leader giving them head pats. It's really nice, and I really hope they don't ruin this dynamic. Kylo Ren walks towards Snoke and kneels before his master. And his master, a Force user with incredible power and unimaginable knowledge. A singular being with entire fleets of Star Destroyers under his command. And he belittles his apprentice, asking how he could fall to an untrained girl who had never picked up a lightsaber before. Snoke calls Kylo a failure. Snoke must be expecting the best of the best. And instead he gets Kylo's messing around with Rey and losing to her. This man could be an incredible antagonist. I hope they don't do something bad in the future. Something that might, I don't know, ruin his character altogether, or maybe give him an unclimactic death. I mean, he has so much potential. He could be the next Palpatine. He could be he could be regarded as a mastermind. I really hope they don't ruin this. They ruin this. His current options to be a character are so endless. All the horror he could bring the audience to hold about him, all of the anger that the writers could make us feel towards just him, this one character. He could make or break this whole thing. The writers could have him level whole planets, destroying cities, committing so much atrocities all across the galaxy. But they don't. They have so much potential with this. They could have him having some sort of climactic ending in the mid or near end point of this film, only for it to be revealed that there's a much greater threat lurking beyond the unknown regions. A threat that shied away from so much destruction it could have wrought, all because of Snoke and the First Order. But with this climactic ending, it could leave the First Order in tatters, as well as the Resistance and the New Republic. All sides of this war could be completely ruined, only for this new threat to come out of nowhere and ruin them completely. Instead of some sort of stalemate, this new threat could bring so much to Star Wars. It could be anything, anyone, from any point. One that makes the strategic gamble to destroy the First Order, the Resistance, and the New Republic all in one stroke. Something that forces all players in the galaxy to focus on them instead of fighting each other. They fight alongside each other to combat this new threat. Ultimately, this story being one that, in the end, everyone can work together so long as they have some sort of common wrong that they need to fight against, that they need to work towards, that they need to do. But instead, something so anticlimactic happens in this film, and I hate it so much. Because so much could have been done, so much beautiful stories that could have been told just from this one part. This one movie could have been so much more. And we needed so much more. But getting back to the scene, Kylo attempts to reply towards the critical gaze of Snoke. A critical gaze that pierces through him, seeing through his very soul as if he was a pane of glass. And then Snoke says the most brilliant thing in this whole movie that oh my gosh, I love it so much. He tells Kylo to take that ridiculous thing off regarding his mask. Something that was used to bring him so much closer in physical appearance to Vader is now being thrown away. It's at this point in this movie that they could have had the point where it's shown and said that because of Kylo's duel with Rey, he can't take it off. And this could be Snoke saying something along the lines of, "You're not worthy to be my apprentice, you should take that ridiculous thing off." Something that would just end up bringing him death. But no, after the duel he's fine, and all he's got is a bit of scar. You know, because lightsabers don't work anymore. But other than all that rubbish I just spouted, this is quite possibly the best scene in the whole movie. I am not joking, I love this scene so much. It is beautiful. From the visuals, to the effects, to the sounds, to the acting, everything is so lovely in this. There's nothing else to say other than the fact that in this pile of dung that this movie is, I've found a little speck of gold that may or may not be a sweet gold. And Kylo does in fact take his helmet off. And he ends up going to the elevator, having a bit of a fit, and he just, smashes it against the wall. But knowing what we know about the third film, there's two options that could have happened once this scene cut. And that's either he walks back, really grumpily, picks up the pieces of his helmet and walks off with them, or someone picks them up, doesn't throw them away, keeps them just in case Kylo wants to glue them together. You know, just in case. So we pick up with some useless stuff of Luke Skywalker, stuff we can safely skip again. But then we come up to this library, and it's in a tree, and it's on this planet in the middle of nowhere. I don't know how to explain it, 'cause it's on the other side. I don't know, dude. But it's implied that this planet in the middle of nowhere is the birthplace of the Jedi Order. It's also the place where Luke intends the Jedi and himself to die. We then get this really horrible dialogue where Rey and Luke have a bit of a back and forth. Luke asks Rey where she's from. She answers, "I'm from nowhere. No one is from nowhere." Then she replies, "Jakku." Then he replies, "Well, that is pretty much nowhere." It's funny, people. Why aren't you laughing? Thank you, Ryan. Thank you very much. It's also pretty much said that Luke is pretty close to accepting Rey as his pupil at this point. But we have another scene. It opens with the Resistance in hyperspace, running away from the First Order, as usual. We're treated to another pretty funny moment. Finn is awake after getting slashed through the back, his spine getting, split in two with a lightsaber. Yeah, he's fine. They should have been fatal, but, he's fine. So, he gets up and he's in this water suit and he falls out of bed and he bumps his head and he walks around all funny like. And BB-8 has to point this out to Poe. They're like traveling around someplace, like in a hallway or something. And then Poe runs up to Finn, who is most likely high off medicinal drugs. And Poe, like, he goes up to him and he's like, "You must have 100 questions." And his first and only question is, "Where's Rey?"
He's becoming a simp.
There's a possibility here that I've thought of. Do you think when he hit his head on the fall off of the bed, or maybe during, like, the first film, he got a concussion, which might be why he's suddenly forgotten all of his First Order training, slips and falls everywhere like a moron, and has a sudden fascination with Rey? But enough about that nonsense. The First Order has found the Resistance, the Supreme Leader's here himself, and his personal dreadnought, the Supremacy. Not like the previous dreadnought from the previous video. This is a completely different dreadnought because it's bigger. So the Supremacy has come here and is ready to shoot up all the Resistance and kill them all and blow them out into space and kill them, and they're gonna die. Yes! Thank you, God! So the Resistance is in worse shape than they ever have been for, like, the second time ever. They're running out of fuel, they have, like, no resources, they're running out of favors to call on. They're running short of everything, including morale. Their escort cruisers start, like, running out of fuel and fall backwards. Not all of them, there's a few of them left. But the Supremacy and its escort Star Destroyers destroy the escorts that, like, do fall backwards. The Resistance escorts, not the... You know what I mean. There is something I need to compliment the Supremacy on, and the whole First Order in general. Their designs are very intimidating. Much like the original trilogy's Empire ships, it's so just... If I came across stuff like that, I wouldn't want to fight it, you know what I mean? But it's later followed by a horrific exchange. Hux is complaining that the Resistance ships are getting away, and he says that they're lighter than the First Order vessels, which, you know, doesn't make sense because there's no gravity in space, Ryan. Remember that from physics class? There's no gravity in space, Ryan. And if we're talking on technicals here, Snoke's ship should be so fast. Honestly, the amount of engines it has, and since it's not in the the gravitational pull of anything, it should be so fast. I mean, look at the engines of this thing. It should be the fastest thing here, and I know by, like, Star Wars standards it shouldn't be, but yeah, you know how it is. I like picking things apart, even when it, like, goes against everything I'm talking about. Just forget about it. So Kylo, the good boy that he is, he's gotten into his, like, TIE fighter thingy. Well, it's not a TIE fighter, but it is a TIE fighter, but it's not. He's gotten into it, and he's got an escort of, like, he's got, like, a couple of, TIE fighters. So the Dark Apprentice, he's flying in with this armada of TIE fighters behind him, ready to overwhelm the enemy. Nah. It's Ryan made this film. No, instead of all of the TIE fighters that they could have sent, which we'll do the math in a second. No, they sent 3? Yeah, 3. Just 3. So with some help of a calculator and the internet, I can find out that, well, let's say, the First Order in this scene has 8 Star Destroyers that's able to dock within the Supremacy, and there's no other Star Destroyers there other than the 8 Star Destroyers that can dock within the Supremacy and, you know, outside of it. So with these, we can say that each has 2 starfighter rooms, or the equivalent of about 280 TIE fighters. Multiply that by 8 and you get the TIE fighters the Star Destroyers can deploy. But we aren't finished. We'll take the 2,240 and add the complement of the starfighters from the Supremacy. But apparently Ryan didn't think about how much capacity the Supremacy has for TIE fighters, and I could only find out on the internet that it does have TIE fighters. It didn't have a concrete number, so maybe it has something like well, it has factories. The Supremacy, it has factories. So maybe it could work somewhat like the Starforge from the Knights of the Old Republic. But let's just say it has around 3,000 TIE fighters, like in total. That's an insane number you could launch in waves, just to overwhelm the enemy, hell, even just to harass them, like taking down their shields and, taking down their engines so they slowly come back into range as the First Order speeds up. I don't know, no, Ryan didn't think about that, because he only sent 3 alongside of Kylo's TIE fighter thing. But props to him, Kylo does make short work of the Resistance. Like, he blows up their hangar, he goes to their bridge to blow it up, but he hesitates because, he might have a bit of light side in it. Maybe he can be redeemed. Not something Luke thought of, is it? So he's there, ready to vent the bridge into hyperspace. Well, space, because they're not in hyperspace anymore. They can't use it because they're running out of fuel. And we'll figure out how much fuel they have soon. And he's there, about to do it, but he's hesitating. When his escort, sends a torpedo over the bridge just vents, and it's gone, and all the people in it, including Admiral Akbar of all people, die. All in space. But Leia, yeah, she's gonna use a power we assumed she didn't have, and is indicated she didn't have. She uses the Force to save herself, and it's, funny because, not counting that the ship is traveling hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, she only ever uses the Force once. And it's in this scene to save herself. Who would have known that Leia Organa, Princess of Alderaan, General of the Rebellion, Senator to the Republic, Founder to the New Republic, she's selfish as selfish can be. So Poe and Finn watch in complete and utter horror as all of the higher-ups, including Admiral Akbar, mind you, get vented into the vacuum of space. Leia's sitting there, she's chilling. She reaches for a door, not an airlocked door, mind you, just a regular door. They open the door, and they all get blasted out into space, and they die. Poe, Finn, Leia, yeah, they die. Is what would have happened if we didn't have Ryan as a director. No, instead, they save Leia at the cost of her being comatose for about an hour in real life time. She'll be fine later, we'll find that out, but I'm gonna say it now. She will be fine. But yeah, Finn finds a little gadget gizmo that's linked to Rey's gizmo gadget, or whatever. It was introduced earlier, but I thought it would be another unfired Chekhov's gun. But it actually does have a purpose, so I humbly apologize. Even if the gadget gizmo gadget doesn't really do anything. They call it like a binary receiver or something? I don't know, dude. So the next scene we have is largely unimportant again, but it is nostalgic and it has to be in the film, so it has to be here. Luke Skywalker and R2-D2, they reunite on the Millennium Falcon. Whoa! R2's sitting there, he's playing the old hologram of Leia that put Luke on his path, and we see that Luke decides to train Rey. Here, of all places, right after seeing the recording that, you know, originally got him going, he's choosing to train Rey here for no reason. As useless as the scene is, it is really nice, and I like it, and it should be... I was about to say there should be more of it, but there shouldn't be, because that's just more nostalgia bait for people to go, oh my gosh, to, you know? So we do finally see Luke Skywalker, the hero of the galaxy, not some guy that's talked up to be a disappointment. And he comes back for like a minute. He's like really nice to R2, and they're talking, and then the recording plays, and then he's like, oh yeah, the new main character, I gotta think about her. So he thinks about her, and he's like, yeah, I'll train her, why not? We've got another scene though. I'm running out of breath. The next scene introduces us to Holdo, played by Laura Dern, one of the most hated characters in this series, not counting the walking sex offender. We might have seen her before, we might not have, I wasn't really paying that much attention, but she's a vice admiral from a now destroyed cruiser, and she was like, doing something, and she ends up telling a big speech before shooing everyone back to their posts. Poe walks up to Holdo and asks what the plan is, you know, like a good little boy. And he's doing his duty, he's trying to get some opinion and back and forth between him and his superior, and she shuts him down so badly. She basically tells him to shut up and go away. It's really rude, and I hate it, and I hate her. Why wasn't she on the bridge when it vented into space? And why is everyone so rude to Poe in this film? Like, he saved everyone at the Resistance at the start of the film, and, you know, in the previous film, and people are just so rude to him. Why? Also, fun fact, this trilogy made Oscar Isaac completely hate Star Wars, just from him acting in it, and he now hates it. Well done, Ryan. Well done, J.J. Abrams. But then we cut to Finn running away from his beloved Rey at an escape shuttle pod. Thing. I don't know what this is, but we do meet someone really special. A walking sexual assault danger.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Rose Tico detected.
Yeah, that was cringe, but yeah, she's crying over her sister that died in an assault of the Dreadnought, like the old Dreadnought, not the Supremacy, the old one from the previous video. Finn tries to hide the fact that he's leaving because he did, and Rose mistakes him for a love interest, a deserter, and before he explains anything, she hits him with a bat, an electric bat, and we get a funny. Now, I am getting pretty tired of this rubbish. Maybe this will be a 4-parter. Who knows? But I can't keep going on like this. It hurts my brain. It hurts my brain. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it off here. Thank you for watching. I love you, but I don't, but I do. And I hope to see you next time.